today we will be visiting the castles, being the Neuschwanstein Castle and
the Hohenschwangau Castle we're actually going into.
The yellow Hohenschwangau Castle that I know I'm pronouncing wrong, I just haven't looked up the pronunciation. We're going inside that one. Here's the bus. Really bad audio on the side of this road. Let's get going. Our original plan was just to go to the H Castle, where our tour is at 10 a.m., 9:55 a.m., and in English, whoa, there it is.
Oh, that's really cool. That's actually really cool because
right on the hill.
We thought it was like that yellow one, so.
We have tickets to the H Castle, English, 9:55 in the morning, first one. Currently, I believe it's like 8 something. So we have all the time we want to explore if this is the town or something. But we're just gonna explore right now, get to that tour at around 10. The plan was to just like, you know, go to the Neuschwanstein Castle, not go in it. A lot of the places you go inside and it's not as cool as the outside, and then you're a little disappointed, and then it kind of like taints your whole opinion of the place overall. So I don't want to do that with the Neuschwanstein Castle, so we were like, whatever, like we'll just not go in there. It's kind of overpriced. Like a lot of people have bad reviews on the tour and stuff, but it's like when you're here and you see it on the hill, it's like, am I really not gonna go in that?
No,
I
know.
I went all the way here to see it, and now I'm not even gonna do the tour. So
plus the tickets weren't that expensive.
Yeah, 20 euros per person. So total to see both of these castles is, you know, like 70, 80 dollars or something. Clearly, if you've watched our videos, we will give a very honest opinion on how the tour went and if it was worth it and if you should do it. No matter what we say, do it. I mean, you're here, why would you not do it? Even if it's kind of just like a trap, because like you made it all the way here, now you have to do this like kind of crappy tour, but like it can't be that bad. At least you get to see inside of it. So that'll be cool. I wish, again, as we spoke on yesterday, I wish we would have came to Fusen earlier. Definitely come here for 2 days, do a hike or two, hang out. Don't, you know, unless you're doing a day trip from Munich, then whatever. But if you're coming specifically here, 2 days, even 3 days, like you could just sit by this lake and look at the mountains and stuff. Reviews of the tours inside coming soon. Stick with us, Fusen. This kind of marks our halfway point on this trip, sadly, but it literally keeps getting better and better and better. So it's all smiles here. It's castle day and we got no sleep, but it's castle day, so it's a good day.
Let's go.
Hello Coco Mama, yeah. Hello Coco Mama. Hello Coco Mama, yeah. Hello Coco Mama. Hello Coco Mama, yeah. Hello Coco Mama.
Speaking of you, thank you for, inspiring me as a kid to come see the Neuschwanstein Castle, and your whole travels to Germany really inspired this whole trip overall. And it's a weird, surreal feeling that I'm finally here after hearing stories about this place for years and years and years, going through the picture books of you and Pop-Up. It's amazing being here, looking directly at the castle way over there. But this one is just as beautiful. Well, I guess it's just as beautiful. Way different vibe. It kind of reminds us of like the Fisherman Bastions, maybe. That it's just like a cool like sand castle.
Yeah.
That one is just like a princess, like Disney castle. This one is, well, I guess this one's maybe more of a castle because it has like all the borders and stuff all along the top. This one has more of like a fortified look rather than like just a beautiful art piece as the Neuschwanstein over there.
It's been a long time planning, and we just cannot believe that we finally made it to Fusen. Amazing castles. Right behind me is the Hohenschwangau Castle, and it is a golden yellow fortress perched just below the Neuschwanstein, and is where a fairy tale actually began. This is the childhood home of King Ludwig II, and unlike his fantasy castle up on the hill, Hohenschwangau was real, lived in, and filled with royal drama. It was originally a 12th century fortress left in ruins until Crown Prince Maximilian II, Ludwig's father, bought it in 1832 and transformed it into a romantic neo-Gothic retreat. Ludwig spent most of his formative years here completely isolated, surrounded by murals of medieval legend, swan kings, and heroes. It wasn't just decoration, it was a psychological programming. These myths painted on the walls shaped his obsession with fantasy, and some historians argue that they directly led to the construction of the Neuschwanstein and Ludwig's eventual mental unraveling. What's even more interesting is that there's a telescope room in the Hohenschwangau that Ludwig used to spy on the construction of the Neuschwanstein from across the valley. He became so reclusive that he wouldn't even see guests face to face at the dinner table. He had food sent up the dumbwaiter and spoke through the doors. If you want to know another secret, follow me. So I know it looks a little bit cloudy today, but if you can see in the distance, there is a beautiful turquoise blue lake, which looks beautiful from above. And the secret that I've been waiting to tell you is that there's actually an underground passageway leading from the castle towards the Alpsee Lake, rumored to be an escape route or private access point for bathing. Though its exact original use is still debated, visitors still walk right past it without knowing that it's there. In many ways, Hohenschwangau is the key to understanding Ludwig. This wasn't just a family residence, it was an emotional pressure cooker that shaped one of Europe's most eccentric monarchs. Neuschwanstein might be the dream, but Hohenschwangau was the spark that lit it. The town below me is named Hohenschwangau, which is the exact same name as the yellow castle that we've been talking about this whole time, and it exists entirely to serve the castle tourists. It's not really a full town, it's more of a historical outpost. Aside from a few boutique hotels, souvenir shops, and tourist restaurants, most of the buildings are tied directly to castle tourism. The village used to be a seat of the Scottish Hohenschwangau state, and it is the royal family's getaway spot long before Neuschwanstein was even imagined. In terms of staying here, the benefit of the location, you can be the first up to the castles before the day trippers arrived from Munich or Fusen, but once the sun sets, the place goes almost completely quiet. So think of it as a luxury overnight experience if you're looking for peace of sunrise hikes or just directly facing the mountains. As we were walking around waiting for our tour to start, we were kind of wondering where the people here lived. We were wondering if they lived in this surrounding area or if they actually lived in Fusen. The villagers and servants who worked in the surrounding land ran the stables and staffed the royal households mostly lived in the Hohenschwangau or even smaller settlements that are around in the area. Fusen was the economic base, while the Hohenschwangau is the royal outpost. Today, Fusen still has the life, while the Hohenschwangau has the views.
Dude, how did he get 2 chargers at the Hohenschwangau Castle?
They got outlets here?
Oh, I guess. People go to the bathroom and he's charging up his crap. What's going on right now? Meow.
So for our experience in the Hohenschwangau Castle was amazing. The details were more than just decoration, and they were a part of a carefully crafted royal experience. The castle was filled with paintings directly on the walls, not just on canvas, and they were shockingly very vibrant and far more striking than any typical oil paintings that we have seen in museums. Scenes of mythology, swans, and heroic tales surrounded you in nearly every room, especially the swans, which were everywhere, even pulling golden boats, nodding to Ludwig's fascination with fantasy and legend. This was his summer and hunting retreat, and every inch was designed to immerse you in a dreamlike version of the past. One of the most fascinating parts of this tour was the hidden infrastructure. Throughout the castle, there were elegant ceramic stoves that looked like grand sculptures, but they were actually part of a secret heating system. Servants would feed wood into them through a hidden passageway in the back so that they wouldn't disturb the royal family. That same sense of curated privacy extended to King Ludwig's inner circle. He hosted a legendary composer, Richard Wagner, here, whose operas deeply influenced Ludwig's later obsessions and shaped the dramatic aesthetic of the Neuschwanstein. This castle wasn't just a home, it was a stage for the royal imagination.
So we just completed our guided tour, an hour, 55 minutes, whatever it is, of the Hohenschwangau Castle. Again, this is where Ludwig grew up, and his brother Otto and the whole royal family.
Yeah, pretty much the whole royal family lived there.
As far as like the value of the tour, it was pretty good.
I don't know. I'll give it an 8 at least.
Yeah,
I feel
that's
like
what I
our
was gonna
tour
say.
guide wasn't. I mean, he was a little confusing. I mean, maybe it's just because English isn't his first language.
Yeah, I would also give it an 8. I just think that our tour guide, like, he came like late, like the tour was at like 8:55 or whatever it was, 9:55. 9:55. He came at like 10:06 or something, and he came in like like trying to get himself together and stuff. And there was a lot of like I feel like he kind of didn't really know what he was saying for a long time.
And then he would get like a little stumbled up. That's why I'm saying, like, he threw in a couple jokes, but it was just hard to follow him. I feel like if we just did an audio guide, like an audio tour, that would have been a lot
audio
better.
guides are just really boring though.
They're boring, but it's like no one was talking anyways. Like no one was really talking anyways. At least we would have like understood the person, and there probably would have been a lot more said. I think that he was just taking up a lot of time saying and like he didn't.
Yeah, I think he was just tired. Didn't really come prepared.
I guess, but it's like you when you pay quite a bit for these tours and you come with expectations of this being one of the #1 castle tours, it's like you kind of have to come with expectations of these tour guides not stuttering at all, because we've had free city guides
that have been amazing.
Yeah, that have been good. No one was stuttering. I mean, maybe a little bit, but it's like these are free tour guides.
It just didn't seem like he didn't really like care that much.
Yeah, again, he might have been tired, but it's kind of a crappy day. The weather is not in our favor right now. Maybe that's just his reasoning, but kind of sucks. But
yeah,
overall, I liked the inside. It was decorated nicely, but I know that a lot of the artifacts were given to the family, so there's not a lot here besides furniture and the paintings, because you can't take the paintings away.
There were beautiful wall paintings. This is something that is the first of our knowledge seeing all around. All these wall paintings were much different than the oil on canvas. The wall paintings were like more bright, clear, you know, interactive. They were, you know, they reflected off the sun really well. And then the oil on canvas paintings were like more darker. Dull. Yeah, darker.
And some of them were a little bit warped too.
Yeah, so it's kind of crazy the first time that we've seen all of these wall paintings now, but it's something that is crazy as far as details and paintings and artwork and furniture and, you know, every single room you have beautiful ceilings, you have amazing walls, you have like golden inscription on the walls.
Yeah.
Gifts given by royal families and, you know, people getting ivory golden chests and stuff just for their 18th birthday and stuff that are like priceless. A lot of just everything obviously handmade in there.
Yeah.
Gorgeous
but
artwork inside, at least.
I wish we spent more time. I felt rushed. I don't feel like we really saw a lot of the small things, because I really wanted to see some of the smaller artifacts. Like there was some plates and dishware, and then there was like a cool like ivory looking knife or sword or something. And then there was also stuff near the end, like hidden in the back, like this like crazy ivory like horn or something built on a castle. So I wanted to see that, but kind of rushed around, so I am definitely worried about the Neuschwanstein Castle.
Yeah, if it's actually known for rushing you, a lot of the times you were just like tucked in a room and you could only really see it on your way out, when you could actually like go a little slower and go at your own pace.
But we're just kind of being like pushed out. Like after he was done talking, we had 10 to 15 seconds to actually kind of look around until we were pushed into the next room.
And he's like waiting at the door to just close it. Value of this tour, you know, you might as well see it. I mean, if you come here, you're gonna see it anyway, so there's no real value of our opinion. It's not that
expensive. Like it really is not that expensive.
Yeah, you might as well see it. There's crazy artwork. Like as far as just like speaking on his life, there was really none of that. I feel like it was basically just like explaining the different artifacts and like pictures and like what some of them meant, like in extremely like short detail. Like, you know, if there's a painting on the wall, oh, this was a war, or this was a big moment in Germany or something, and then like this was a gift given to Ludwig on his 18th birthday. There was nothing like, oh, him and his dad went out on the lake and they were hunting and fishing on his 5th birthday, and you know, this is what he was doing when he was 3 years old, or this is what he was doing when he was 20 years old. It was just like, this painting was given to him, this painting is of this. Like, I wanted to learn about his life, but we just learned about, you know, some artwork basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I mean, we did know a little bit about his brother's mental history, but other than that, it was definitely really rushed, a really quick tour. You had to do research before coming here or just after. I think it's just due to how long the tour is, pretty much. I mean, I guess that's really it. But now that I think about it, it's like, if he was a little bit of faster talker and more clear, we easily could have like learned a lot more than like what we did.
Maybe he could have gotten to the part where he actually learned about his life.
It was like half and half of like talking, and then half is like
quiet.
So
So this is officially 8 minutes now. No one's probably still listening, so we're gonna cut this right now and move on to the Neuschwanstein Castle.
Let's go. So since our tour guide didn't give us too much information about Ludwig's childhood, we decided to delve into that a lot more and give you guys the information about him. So he was shaped less by privilege and more by isolation. From the start, he was raised under a rigid formality, his father Maximilian II, who imposed strict routines meant to mold him into an ideal constitutional monarch. Ludwig had little contact with other children and was often forbidden from leaving the castle grounds without supervision. He was expected to absorb military discipline, philosophy, and languages, but he rejected most of these expectations. Instead, he retreated into a fantasy, even as a child, spending hours reading medieval literature and dramatic legends, anything that promised worlds more poetic and dramatic than his own. He had a habit of disappearing into the woods for hours, sometimes infuriating the royal household, who would search for him only to find him perched up on a rock, sitting by a stream, sketching imaginary castles in his notebook. His tutors noted that he often spoke informal archaic German, mimicking the language of knights and princes from centuries past. This wasn't play. It was how Ludwig coped with the loneliness and pressure. He developed a lifelong obsession with moonlight, stars, and twilight, and insisted his room remain lit only by candlelight, even when gaslighting became common. These eccentrics weren't just quirks, they were early signs of a mind that operated on completely different emotional wavelengths. His relationship with his younger brother, Otto, was distant and strained. Though they shared the same upbringing, Ludwig remained emotionally detached, viewing his brother more as a duty than a companion. His strongest emotional bond during his childhood was not only with a person, but with art, particularly with music of Wagner, which he discovered in his teens. His devotion to Wagner would later become fanatical. He referred to Wagner's operas as my sanctuary, and even as a boy, Ludwig claimed to experience divine visions when listening to music alone in the castle's upper chambers. The 1819 bread, so 1,000-year-old bread was in there, not even moldy.
It's not 1,000 years.
Well, no, thousands of years. Well, okay.
1800, that's 200 years.
Okay. It's not 200. There's no way that's
1800. We're in 2000, babe.
1800 to 2000, that's 200 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not 1,000.